Welcome to a history of saps, blackjacks, and slungshots. Yes, there I am, a rare appearance. And the reason this is part of this video series is that I taught my first class on said subject, as you can see, and it was at my alma mater. The banner above me was advertising said event, and this was at their martial arts club, which I was a kind of a founding member of 26 years ago. I brought a lot of antique weapons and really unusual ones, but for hands-on work, I also got to create some safe ones. This was my first attempt to do so. I took a trip to the hardware store, just bought some cheap materials, as you can see here, and got to work. Found the plumbing aisle to be particularly useful, and here's what they started to look like as they took shape. The spring at the bottom there was used to make kind of a large, flexible truncheon, something more like you would have seen in the 19th century than nowadays when blackjacks are basically meant to, fit in your pocket. The one in the middle is for more of a typical blackjack, and there's like a life preserver up top. So let's start with that one. See, here's my real-life antique life preserver at the bottom, and then this one which kind of turned into more of a sausage sap. Very long, very flexible. The real snappiness, if you will, of a life preserver is not that easy to replicate, it turned out. So the sausage sap was a lot easier, almost fully flexible, but not, which is important, instrument. So it turned out to be more of a replication of this down here. And that is the Russian Whips sausage sap that I've reviewed previously. Here's the finished truncheon. Let's do a slow motion here. You can see the amount of flexibility it ended up with, which was not too much, but very noticeable as well. So I think that worked out pretty decently. There it is again. You see the striking head, which is nice and soft, or soft enough for training purposes. I think that guy came out pretty decent, actually. I really like it. Don't know how long it'll last under training conditions. And then here's kind of the sausage sap, maybe, life preserver. See, it's got some rigidity. I mean, it does hold its shape, but it swings really fast and really hard because it's practically completely flexible. And because of that, you can use it like this too, right? Very different weapon from a lot of the other saps. Speaking of fully flexible, it could also be a stand-in for a slungshot. Although a slungshot, like this one here, is truly flexible. Now this one was easy because I already own it and it has no load, so perfect for training, and it looks really, historically accurate. And here's my modern version. And it's super cheap, super easy, and it works. I mean, the shape and the size is just right for an old-time slungshot. I rolled up a couple of socks, dropped it in there, used rubber bands, and you've even got the lanyard. It's perfect. There you go. Can even do the strike, the grip-free strike that I've talked about in previous videos. Now, this one's not meant to last so much, as you can tell. This one is the only one that didn't survive, though, so still a pretty good expedient, I think. And here's my blackjack. Kind of my pocket sap, pocket jack, and a little stress toy filled with, gel, silica, whatever, but so kind of like a little mini sand club. It's a soft load. It actually hurts a bit when you get hit with it too, so good for training purposes. Hurts enough that you feel it, but not so much that you can't train with it. And as you can see, I'll just keep layering here the entire collection. Something else that came in really convenient, there's that truncheon. There it is again. Again, I like that one. But if you hit with the spring itself, actually that's going to hurt. But modern coin saps, right? Perfect. Just don't load them up or don't load them up very much, and you can use those as flat sap simulators. This is by the same guy who made the knockout bracelet that I have a video on, but I haven't focused on this one yet. Micro Leather Workshop is the maker. And if you're dealing with this whole kind of milieu, you can't leave out, the quote-unquote brass knuckles. So obviously I brought a pair of wooden ones, I brought a couple of pairs actually, and, they would have been used by the same types of people, in the same types of places, etc. Now, this one is particularly more of a kobudo weapon, like Okinawan weaponry, but serves the purpose. As you can imagine, I squeezed in as much history as I could when I talked about this. A lot of 19th century lore, talked a little bit about footpads, cracksmen, sailors, the kinds of people who use these, and a lot of the tricks that they would use. So like with the slungshot, throwing it out straight from your fist, your closed fist, into their face, so they're getting hit with it before they even know you have a weapon. Sneaking the knucks or the sap out of your pocket. Closing the distance and obscuring your opponent's vision with your hat or your hand, and bringing the weapon around so they don't even know what they've been hit by until it's too late. Using the flexibility of the weapon to get around your opponent's block and still strike. Now, this image does not include everything I brought that day, because I brought a lot, and a lot of antiques, so I showed the antiques, talked about them, even let them handle including in training, several of them. You can see the sailor's fid at the bottom of this picture, for example, and I thought that was kind of cool, a pretty unique experience. I mean, that doesn't happen every day in a martial arts class. So it included everything from modern safe simulations to original examples. It was a lot of fun. Thanks a lot.